What's up, everybody? I'm David Hain. Welcome to episode 142 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. If you enjoy this podcast, please like, subscribe, follow, and share the link with your friends, or click on the support link in this episode's description. Your donation of any amount could change a life. If you'd like to get our curriculum, you can get the paperback or ebook of From Ashes to Destiny on Amazon. When we come back, we'll get into this episode entitled, Want to Stop? Welcome back to episode 142 of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast entitled, Want to Stop? I'd like to give a big welcome to my friends in recovery from the U.S., South Africa, and Australia for their participation in this group for today's episode. As before, I'll be keeping them anonymous, but I'll be saying their answers which they sent me as if we're having a live group meeting. So guys, here's your topic for today. Here's an anonymous quote. When you can't stop, you don't want to. And when you want to stop, you can't. That's addiction. In thinking about this quote, guys, if you had, say, 1 minute to encourage an addict caught in this cycle where they can't stop when they want to, and when they can stop, they don't want to, what would you say to them? Dante, would you like to start us out? Sure, David. Being delivered from an addiction can be an accomplishment, and it can be accomplished in a moment or over a long period of time. What I mean by that is that when you want to quit and can't, the darkness consumes you. But when you quit and decide you don't want to, you're blind to reality. So I would encourage you to call that to mind, to remind yourself of that, to recite that to yourself, internally and aloud. Say, the next time I'm tempted, I'll run. Or the next time I'm using, I'll stop. Even though the darkness can consume you, the light of morning is coming. So what you have to replace that with is the satisfaction that God has in you, and He gives you that victory. So the night is dark, but the morning is coming. Good word to start us out, Dante. The darkness of temptation can consume us, but we do have a higher power, that assured victory. So just hang in there until the morning comes. Ben, what do you think about this topic? David, I would say to the person caught in this cycle, I understand where you are. Sometimes you have the desire to, but it seems like you don't have the will or the strength to. And sometimes you have the will and the strength, but you just can't seem to find the desire. And I can speak this from personal experience. And David, I'm going to quote you here. I would tell them, a good friend of mine named David has a concept he calls counterfeit comforters. In its simplest form, it's basically that we find comfort in everything else but the presence of God, our Creator, in our life. A lot of people flip the switch off when it comes to this because they either don't want to hear anything about God or they don't know anything about God, and they're not willing to give God a try. However, speaking from personal experience, the day I opened my heart to God and asked Him to come in and be true, and to be the true capital C comforter, everything changed. Now, I'm not saying everything is roses. I still have struggles. I still falter and fall. But it's different than it used to be. I have a new sense of hope and an unexplainable strength to give me direction when those temptations come. Bottom line, I would say to the addict caught in this cycle, that when it comes back to this sort of back and forth of having the will to stop and then sometimes not having the will to stop, I'd ask, what are you trying to numb? What wound in your heart are you trying to numb with whatever you're using? Whatever it is, it's a counterfeit comforter. At the end of the day, you need the real capital C comforter. That's what's going to make all the difference. I'm not speaking from something I read in a book. This is real, and it's working for me. Awesome, Ben. It's so important to keep it real and to be able to say, this works for me, and I'm willing to walk with you as you give it a try. What would you say, Eddie? Well, David, in capital letters, I'd say don't start, because the honeymoon doesn't last very long. Before you know it, your life is full of guilt, lies, and deception. You find yourself waking up in a very dark hole, watching everything you love and appreciate just slipping away from you. You're going to desperately want to quit, but you'll find you're too far gone and helpless to stop. A moment's pleasure is definitely not worth a lifetime of brokenness and despair. So don't even venture there. It's not where you belong. Focus on what's important to you and concentrate on giving that your all. There is definitely no high like the Most High. Sure. Great reminders there, Eddie. Do we want to start down a road full of guilt, lies, deception, helplessness, brokenness, and despair? I guess I need to echo your words that you started with there, Eddie. Don't start down that road. Harry, what do you think about this topic? Well, David, my advice all the time to addicts is that we have the ability to stop. The day we make a decision, and when the craving and withdrawals kick in, we must remind ourselves that one is too many and 1,000 is never enough. If we stay away from the first one, we can stay away from the other 10 to follow. Good reminder there, Harry. We can all stop, but if we give ourselves the right to pick up just one time, the train is rolling and we can't get off. Charlie, would you like to close us out today? Well, David, for me, there was never any stopping until all the money, booze, drugs, and people were all gone. And sometimes when that happened, I still didn't stop. From the very first time that alcohol became the thing that numbed my pain, it just took it all away from me, period. Took it all. What I'd say to an addict who's caught in this cycle is, you don't have to live that way anymore. Do you know that there's a totally different world out there than the one you are running from? Please, let's take some time each day and talk about your life. I'd like to get to know you and help support you in living a healthier life that leaves you with more self-control and that can have you making choices you and your loved ones can be proud of. Even though I don't know you, I really care about you, your family, and the time you have with each other in a new life of recovery. Shaw, Charlie, I love the way you said, I don't know you now, but let's take the time each day to talk about your life. It's awesome the way you're not focusing on the addiction with that, but you're focusing on life and the world of new opportunities to live it. Thanks, guys, for all of your input on today's episode. And I like all of the ideas you had to be able to just spend a minute to bring some encouragement and hope into people caught in that vicious cycle of when they want to stop, they can't find out how to do it. And when they don't want to stop, they are still trapped the same way. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode of the A to D from Addict to Disciple podcast. If you would like to join an online group or get one-on-one counseling to help you find your way to stop, please message me on the link in this podcast or by email at davidfromatod@gmail.com, or go to my website, www.fromatod.org, and click on the contact page. You can keep in touch with what we're doing in From A to D by following me on Instagram at davidfromatod. For our Spotify listeners, you can leave your comments by clicking on the link that they provide in their platform. Tune in Monday for our next episode, and as always, stay safe and stay strong.